a chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up.
Hello, welcome to New York Talk. We are the Rotherham United podcast. And, well, the Championship's just easy, isn't it? Honestly, it's just so easy. Fifth in league, game in hand, up top of the top of the league. What is all fuss about? Don't get it. So we have another victory to talk about. We'll look ahead to the Sunderland game as well. I've looked forward to this one. Mick's with us, first of all. I'm looking forward to this one. I don't know why. I do know why, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, plenty to discuss, isn't there, really?
Yes, you may even get a Mick rant today. You'll probably almost definitely get a Mick rant today. So all you Mick rant fans out there, get ready. Danny's with us. How's it going, Danny?
Hello, everybody. I think we've just heard from the intro my thoughts on that game. The Magic Man has come up with another trick, hasn't he, just?
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, yes. That man. We'll talk about that man in a minute. So much to cover. Right. Let's just welcome everybody in the comments first. Neil Liversidge is with us. He asked about the ball boys or ball boys and girls, which is a question. Mick, do you want to? Because you noticed that as well, didn't you? Lack of ball boys.
There weren't anybody there. I think there were about 3 round ground, and the ones that were there didn't particularly seem that bothered about fetching ball. If I'm perfectly honest, certainly a couple of them. But one in first half where a ball rolled literally in front of the ball boy or girl, and they just sat there and watched it roll past. But there don't seem to be very many now. Whether that's a ploy or not, or whether they just can't get them, I don't know. But it was noticeable yesterday, definitely.
Maybe he's been taking tips from Gareth Ainsworth, and this is just one of the ways of time wasting.
Possibly.
Bullying teams or some nonsense like that. We bullied them again yesterday, didn't we, somehow? F6 Miller, evening everybody, what a win. Gav Grund is with us, evening all. Paul, Rockola says all of us have getting a nosebleed up here. We've got so many people with us tonight. Thank you all who are joining us. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're audio listening, please subscribe as well on Apple Tunes.
iTunes, rebrand.
iTunes, Spotify, everything else in between. So the headline is that Rotherham United are 5th in the Championship after 5 games, 3 points off top, still unbeaten. We'll come into the specifics in a minute, Danny, and there's quite a lot of specifics to talk about. But that headline is unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, we're the happy clappers at best of times, but I don't even think we predicted that we'd be 5th after 5 games. Like I know it's early in the season and it can happen yet, but this is our best start to a second-tier season in 20 years. Like the last time we'd gone 5 unbeaten at the start of a championship, second-tier season, I think Ronnie Moore was in charge. So it's I've never seen this high up more or less in my entire life. So it's just pass me another beer. It's fantastic. But we're not there by mistake. We have been very good defensively. We've only conceded twice, which for a newly promoted side, I think makes us the lowest, and then the second lowest overall in the division behind Preston. So it's just we're not there by fluke. We're just there because we've been very, very good in our opening 5 matches, and hopefully it continues, and hopefully we break the record against Sunderland and make it 6. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that would be. We'll get ahead of ourselves, but if we won at Sunderland, that'd be the best start to a second-tier season since 1964. So yeah, yeah. Mick, do you want to take a bit of credit first? You correctly predicted a 2-0 victory. Do you want to give yourself a bit of a pat on the back?
Yeah, I can do. I've already done that. I've not collected my winnings yet, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I changed my prediction was going to be 2-1, and then I said I can't see Victor conceding. I just can't, and I still can't see Victor conceding. he's absolutely on fire, is the lad.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll do for me. That's 2 correct score predictions out of 5 games. I'm happy with that.
I think it's 3, isn't it?
Is it 3? I don't know.
I think it might be 3.
Might be 3 actually. Did I do Preston 0-0 as well?
You did.
Yes, it's 3. Yeah. Listen, 3 out of 5. I'll have that. I'll take that.
Right, Mick, do you want to get his lottery numbers as well?
I'll wait while we're finished.
This is our best home start to a season after 3 games since 2013 and 14. And it equals the return, again, after 3 home games, it equals the start to the 81-82 season as well, which was also in the second tier. Which, again, I think we finished 7th that season, Mick?
I think we
Something
did,
like that. No playoffs back then, obviously. But...
No, absolutely. But it was, yeah, it was a hell of a finish. Listen.
Yeah.
5 games.
Yeah.
5 games. Feet on floor. Come on.
Nope. You mentioned Victor. Victor got in the team of the week for the Football League paper, joined by some 37-year-old guy called Richard Wood. Alfie RUFC says, hello lads. How Richard Wood does it at 37 years of age? I will never know. Butchered that. Sorry, Alfie. But the question still stands. I feel like he should be older than me because he's about 5 years older than me, or 6 years older than me. But he's just much more of a man and a human being than I will ever be. It just don't feel fair, but at the same time, I'm so happy that for him and that he's our player because he's just wonderful. Everything about him is just great.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly more of a footballer than you'll ever be, isn't he?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
There's any doubt about that. Sorry to tell you. Just shows you what experience can do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as Richard Wood is concerned, it's far, far more than experience, and it's far, far more than ability as well. There's a lot more to the man. So he is a leader. He's an absolute born leader. And we are very, very lucky to have him. I know he said yesterday in his interview with Radio Sheffield, which I'm sure we might come on to. We might come on to Radio D-Dar later. But he said in his interview that he was privileged to be able to experience what he's experiencing at the moment in the context of his family as well as the club. But we're just as privileged to have him with us. It's just fantastic to watch. And every season he does it again and again and again. And while ever I'm doing this podcast at the beginning of every season, I am definitely going to write him off every season. He just goes on and proves everybody wrong, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I'm quite happy to say that I've seen a few people on Twitter and Facebook eating humble pie, gladly eating humble pie, to be fair to those people. And that's, I know in a way, Danny, that's what we all want. When we criticise somebody, we talked about Scott in the midweek about him not being very good. I'm so happy to eat humble pie in 3 weeks' time because he's amazing.
Yeah.
And Richard Wood just does it again. I don't know when he'll stop. It's just crazy.
Richard Wood's a little bit like, probably a bit like Warney as our manager. He won't stop until he's told to.
Yeah.
And yesterday he was even playing the second half with a dead leg, which might be why he scored with his top of thigh, bottom of area, as Wes Payne described it. But yeah, it's just not. He's still going to be here when he's 50. You know, he'll still be Rotherham's captain at 50, and I don't know. We might be in the Premier League by then. We'll have to wait and see. But would he put in such a good showing yesterday that he made Troy Deeney, who I think's 2 or 3 years younger than him, look like an old man? It made him look a lot older than he actually was. And I'm sure a few people like this, you see the name on the Tuesday, it's like that. Is that the Troy Deeney, like the hero of Watford Troy Deeney? And he didn't do very well against us, did he, really? No, it was kept very... pushed Rathbone over and made a little bit of an arse of himself. But other than that, he didn't really do much. Woody just completely marked him out the game, really. And if Woody can do that and he's 3 years his senior at 37, it's like fair play, Woody. Fair play. But I told you at the start of the season, every Saturday game, Woody starts, and this is why, because he's calm in defence, but he's a threat up. There's a threat up top from set pieces. He said it himself. He's a threat in both boxes, and I didn't know it was a thing to have a box-to-box centre half, but we've got one. He can clear it from his own box and clear it towards the goal in the opposition's box as well. So it's just a win-win, isn't it?
I think I'll be dead chuffed being referred to as box to box.
Yeah. There you go. Woody, if you ever watch this podcast, right, or someone tells you about this, you are Rotherham's box to box centre half.
Thank you. Carl Scott says he's a future Miller's manager.
I can see that. Yeah,
goes one further and saying Woody for PM. I'd have him in charge of anything. Whatever he wants to be in charge, just let him be in charge. I'm sure he'll do a good job at whatever he does.
Yeah.
The first header, Mick, was typical Richard Wood. It was, there's a ball there to be won, so I am going to win it and head it as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And it just boom, there you go.
It was a bullet, wasn't it? Bullet. The ball went like a bullet. Woody went like a bullet. It was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. If that had been straight at the goalkeeper, it would have still gone in. You know what I mean? It was just fantastic. Great run and an absolute bullet header. And it is what Woody does. So, and then another assist for Dan Barlasser. How many is that?
Well, there's been
four.
Technically four, but we'll come on to the second goal now. The second goal came from a cross from Dan Barlasser. But they haven't given it him as an assist. Because it came off Wes Harding before Woody knocked it in. So my question is, I don't really understand how assists work. If it doesn't go directly from him to him, does that mean it's not an assist?
Surely it has to be the intended ball. Like if just ricochets off something, like if it ricochets off the opposition, fair enough, and it's like a clear deflection, fair enough. But if it's just like took a nick off something, just a little deflection, surely it should be from the intended target that gets the assist because he had the intention to play that. But
I'd say so.
We'll get on to who's in charge at EFL these days. They've changed hands so many times I've forgotten. Well, you need to get on to him. We just got now. Then that was it's Barlasser's assist. Count it.
In our eyes, it's Barlasser's assist.
We'll be counting it end of season when it comes to totting up the award for assists,
which would make it 5 assists already. Dan Barlasser. That's what it should be. But again, Mick, it was just. It's just a threat. I don't know how to describe that second goal. It was just there. That was a different type of goal, a very different type of goal from the first one. It was just lurking in the right areas. And that's probably just experience, isn't it?
It is. But I mean, the key to it, and I know it's Woody, and I know we're talking about Richard Wood, but the ball in is the key to that. That just creates absolute and utter confusion, which is exactly what it did. And I'm sure if you ain't got touching it, it'd probably gone straight in, to be fair, because everybody would just. Certainly the defence were just at 6s and 7s. So, but yeah, fully deserved. What a player!
Yeah, it's a struggle. Then I talked about the week. I think about Barlasser struggling things to say. I struggle with Woody because what could we say about Richard Wood that hasn't already been said by somebody else? There's just I don't know what else you can say in a positive way, in a really positive way. I don't know what else to say.
I think the other thing now we can just start to look at his career in stats, and I think it says something when he scored 50% of his overall goals in Rotherham colours. Because I think he's got 41 total, and he's scored 21 goals for Rotherham in his career.
If you like one, a pointless stat, but it's a stat nevertheless. Since Richard Wood joined the club, there are only 2 people that have scored more goals for Rotherham United, and that is Michael Smith and Fred Ladapo.
Bloody hell!
He's now scored the same amount of goals Crooksy did while Crooksy was with us. But yeah, there's only 2 strikers that have scored more goals than Richard Wood since he joined in 2014. Bearing in mind, he didn't play for the first 2 seasons, season and a half under Steve Evans.
I think the elephant in the room from that stat is that there's 2 strikers and an attacking midfielder there.
Yeah.
And he's a central defender.
Yeah.
Madness. I mean, I know he's had a lot more. He's played a lot more games, obviously, but it's not his job.
Yeah.
He's still leading the way and showing what people should do, showing people what they should do. Should I say? So,
I have an interesting idea to propose to Warney involving Richard Wood. Do you know during the Women's Euros, England had a tactic where if they needed a goal desperately, they sent Millie Bright, who is also a centre half, who just so happened to be number 6, and she went and played up front. Now, Warney, take a little bit of inspiration from the women and go, right, if we desperately need a goal and it's like, last 10 minutes, just stick Woody up top. Because you'll have a front line of Washington, Woody and Chio. Now you've got the pacey one, the workhorse and the wrecking ball. You'll be bound to score with that winning formula. There you go. That's my idea. I'm at work, I've got Warney, I need to have a word with you. I've got an idea.
Essex Von Miller says that Dan's mum, Alison, has tweeted that he has 2 assists, so it's 2 assists. If Alison says so, that's the end of the conversation, as far as we're concerned. Tobias is with us. He says a very important victory. With only 35 points to be safe from relegation. Yeah. Well, yeah. You probably need 50 to be guaranteed. To be guaranteed, we need 50. But you are probably right. We 44 would probably do us. 45, something like that, will probably do us.
If we could keep your boy fit, Tobias, then we're going to be there by Christmas. So, have a word and make sure he doesn't do daft.
I mean, how many games have we got left? We've got 41 games left, and if it is indeed 35 points, 35 from 41 looks extremely doable on paper.
We've got 9 from 5.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But feet on the floor.
No. Feet on the floor. A few other comments. Jamie says, Championship completed it. Not yet. Jillian Simpson's with us. Phil Rowlandson, Neil Taylor, plenty with us at the moment. Dean Catley says, Dean Catley's with us, and his kids, Frankie and Eddie, are also with us. Carl Briggs, let's move on to Victor. Let's talk about the defence and praise the defence. Carl Briggs says Victor made some great saves. Poundwood UK says all the balls seem to get sucked into Victor's hands. It's a strange one, Danny, because I think Victor had a very good game, but I don't think he was any better or worse than any other game. I thought this may be me being a bit over the top with it. I just thought Victor was Victor.
Yeah, I mean, Victor's turned into one of them players where you don't really know when he's had like just a standard game, if that makes sense. It's a bit like Wilesy. You don't really notice when they've had a standard game because they're good anyway. It's only when Victor's been exceptional, for example, against Preston, whilst we were under the cosh, that you really notice how well he does. But yeah, like with the balls getting sucked into his hands, that chance Birmingham had in the second half. If you watch it on iFollow, on like the whole game replay, where they have different camera angles, you see how far he's stretched to grab the ball, but he just sort of just hangs there and catches it. And watching it back, it's an incredible save. You know, because Victor's not the tallest goalkeeper. You know, he's not like Jamal Blackman, who are about 6'9". So for him to get that reach on the ball, just pluck it out the air like it's nothing, it's fantastic. But then in the first half, it wasn't tested. No. You know, it wasn't tested at all, which I think goes to show how resolute our defence is, and we're just not letting the chances be created. That was last season. He would have had to have made at least 3 or 4 more crucial saves than he did in the game overall. And I think the total for the game was probably, 2 crucial saves that he had to make all game. And then there was Scott Hogan's diabolical miss in the second half. But yeah, again, standard performance from Victor, which is just amazing.
Damien Duncan says the diving catch towards the end summed his performance up. Yeah, he did. He's very good. I don't know if he's better, Mick, but he's just very, very good at holding on to the ball when he saves. There's no parrying it around the post, or wherever possible, he's not parrying it around the post. And that takes the pressure away, because if you parry it around the post, it looks good, and it would still be a very good save. Yeah. But it just takes the pressure. The pressure's gone. That's it. That's the end of the attack. And it's just such a skill if you can master it, which he seems to be doing. It just helps the rest of the defence. The defence can breathe easier, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's on a hell of a run of form at the moment, isn't he? And long may that continue. The work, obviously, that Andy Warrington's doing with him It's clearly paying off. He's set the bar so high so far this season that it's remarkable. So I just hope that his form continues. He did go down a couple of times in the game. I've trained on a couple of times.
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether that was just a bit of Gareth Ainsworth type trickery, or whether he is carrying some sort of injury. I hope not. I suspect it's probably the former rather than the latter.
Yeah.
And it just saves him getting a yellow card, although we're never going to get one of them on Saturday with that ref. So, like I said, he's set the bar very, very high. And if he can maintain that all season, we ain't going anywhere near the relegation zone. It's a big ask. It's a massive ask. But if anybody can do it, Victor can. And if he can't, Josh Vickers will step up.
Yeah. Now's the time where we're going to push him to get into the Sweden squad of Gain. I don't know where his call-up is, but he's got to be due one soon. I checked their squad for the Nations League, and their main key players in the Bundesliga, which is all right, I accept that. One of them is Robin Olsen, who's I think second or third choice at Aston Villa, not playing games. And the other one, the last time, was a 38-year-old.
Didn't they have they had Dahlberg as well, who was at Doncaster, and then
He weren't called up last time.
Wasn't he?
No.
It's not really.
Now he has made an appearance though.
He's made a cap, yeah. He has got a cap, yeah.
Listen, if he maintains this sort of form, an international call-up is inevitable. It has to be, in my view. But what's that worth?
Yeah. The other keeper, Jakob Anders, plays in Sweden. But how does the Championship compare? I don't know.
It's good to know, isn't it?
That's somebody else we need to have a word with, Swedish FA, whoever runs that. Have a word with Swedish FA going, then how come our Victor's not being called up?
You're making a list, Danny?
What, sorry?
You're making a list. Oh, we need
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a list next to me. So whoever runs EFL, Swedish FA, Gavin Ward.
Right, let's move on to some other players. We'll move forward. NSW says Hall, I think, equaled Woody. They were both excellent. Mick, you were fairly critical is not the wrong word, but what is the word?
I don't know.
We'll go with critical. I don't think it's the right word. We'll go critical of his performances at times. And I don't think he started very well against Birmingham. I thought he lost the ball a couple of times. But as the game went on, he became superb.
Yeah, he did.
Second half, it was just immense, Grant. I was so impressed with him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic. I don't think he missed a header, certainly in that second half at all. Whether he missed one in the whole game, I don't know. The couple, like you said, there were a couple of points where he miscontrolled it. He lost possession a couple of times. But other than that, it was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And on one occasion where he stepped out of defence and he almost scored. I mean, I know I accept it was probably a misplaced cross, but it was absolutely fantastic, absolutely excellent. So yeah, credit where credit's due. Hopefully he can kick on and sort of. He's in a new team, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I don't think he's played much for Middlesbrough, so he's probably not had a lot of game time over the last 12 months. So again, he's got to get himself back into a place where he's got some match sharpness, and that certainly seems to be coming. He was far more involved in this game than he has been in any of the others.
Yeah, 100%.
And not necessarily from a putting your body on line defensive point of view. He was just there and involved. So yeah, excellent game.
Yeah, 100%. Carl Briggs said we look way more like a Championship than Birmingham did. That's fair, Danny. Let's briefly talk about Birmingham. John Morella, Birmingham's not with us tonight. I understand why. They were. I don't know what to say, but other than they did not cause us barely a single problem. The problem came from us in the second half, not dealing with the Scott Hogan chance properly. That's it. I'm not disappointed because I'm glad they were rubbish, but I expected more. I expected more fight, more something about them. They had nothing. I thought they were terrible.
Terrible might be a little bit strong. I mean, they've definitely got quality in their team. It's just how do they utilise it, and they haven't found the effective way to do it yet. Whereas us and our squad, we have found the effective way to utilise it, which is why we've won 2 and drawn 3. But it's like with Birmingham, they seem to get better when Deeney went off. They brought on the quicker players. Oh, that was alarm going off.
Oh, is about? I don't know what that
were. You burning toast? Is that your fire alarm going off?
It's going off. Oh, sorry. Go
no, it's all right. But yeah, they sort of grew into it in the second half where they knew they needed to get a goal, and a couple of the times they did try the counter, and like with what happened with Woody, where him and Victor had a little bit of a mix-up. That was only the really clear-cut chance. I think the other one. What was the other one? The other one came with Victor's pluck, and that was just from I believe that was from a corner. Once it was from a corner, and then they got the shot away, and Victor's plucked it. So they didn't really have much in terms of going forward. Which is great for us, he's the defender. But it's also a testament to us that we didn't allow them many opportunities to show what they were about up front, and that's what you need to do in the Championship. You limit the opposition's chances going forward, and you should be all right, barring any any bad mistakes. Like I said, Birmingham didn't offer much going forward, and we just dealt with them, which is what we're about this season. We're not here to make up numbers. We're here to deal with the teams and beat them, or at least get a draw with them. That's what's happened so far. So, hey, happy days.
Yeah. Ray Smedley says, Woody checked his pockets because Dean is probably still in there. Possible. Move on to a slight negative. Carl Scott says the other chance for Birmingham came when Cameron Humphreys pulled his hamstring. Another chance to remember. Sounds like a pretty bad injury for Cameron Humphreys. Looks like it's hamstring. Paul Warne, without confirming anything, because he can't confirm anything after the game, suggesting that it was a pretty bad one. Players know their bodies. I think if they know it's a bad injury, they know it's a bad injury. And Paul Warne says that Cameron Humphreys had tears in his eyes. It'd be a blow, Mick. It wouldn't be a fatal blow to the season because we've got other players to come in like Jamie McCart, and Wes did really well. But for him himself, the start he's had, it's just if he's out for 3 months, which is probably to World Cup, it'd be gutting for him, wouldn't it?
It will be, and you've got to feel for him. You've got to feel for him. It's like you say, he's the start he's had has been absolutely fantastic, and he will be some player. Hamstring injury or no hamstring injury, he's going to have a glittering career. There's no doubt about that. He's an immensely talented footballer. So, it's a bit of it's a lot of a downer for him. For us, it's just a chance for somebody else to step up. And we've got Jamie McCart to step into that role, who's played really well when he's played. So yes, it is disappointing. I'm not, but looking at it from a team point of view, from a club point of view, it's next man up into it. I know that's a bit mercenary, really, but it's all about the points. It's all about points on board, and we've got an adequate, at least. At the minimum, an adequate replacement.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so. Ian Bradley says on the reaction of Birmingham fans, certain Blues fan base really don't like losing. Some of the most post-match scenes were embarrassing. Yeah, you get that. You do get that, unfortunately. Just a quick mention on the EFL on ITV. We were the last on, 5th in table. We were the last game on, and we barely got a mention. Again.
Yay.
Whatever. I just want to keep mentioning it. Whenever they are garbage at what they do, I want to keep pointing out until they improve. Because they've got to, I assume.
They haven't, though, have they? They've got it now. They've got the contract. They'll just keep doing what they're doing and thinking it's a success. You look through social media, and it's not just Rotherham United supporters that are critical of it. It's across the board. Their coverage is dire. It really is poor, but whatever. There's so many ways now to get your football content. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't show. We're not allowed to show. show match action because ITV want to charge £5,000 a minute for it. But yeah, leave him alone. Don't even bother watching it. Just watch it on iFollow.
Yeah,
you know, you can watch the whole match for free on iFollow after the game. So why would you look at somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about trying to talk about it?
Yeah.
Iris Ethan says, "Bring back Colin. Bring back Colin."
Correct.
Yeah, 100%.
And Lewis says, "Same as you, Mick prefers watching full match replays on iFollow." Anyway,
my good wins commentary is just so much better. You know, the little primal roll that he lets out whenever we score is brilliant. You know, ITV need to sort it out. I will admit that last night was the first time I watched the ITV highlights just to see if it's as bad as people say they are. And it got to Rotherham's bit, and they said about 5 lines about as they went. And now back to the Friday night game. It's like, is that it?
The thing is, it don't make any sense because what Quest used to do, which were brilliant and logical, is they went from top to bottom, didn't they? In terms of teams. So if you were Norwich and you were first, your game would be on first on the. If you weren't a featured game anyway, you'd be in that order. So so they put all the relegation teams at the bottom at the end, so they're together. All the promotion teams at the top. It just sort of fit quite nicely together. Whereas this one, I mean, we were after nil Preston. I mean, Preston. What's happening in the Preston game? Nothing. Why were we after that game? Nothing happens for Preston.
The other thing I noticed, and I don't know, you need to go back and watch it. The presenter is, in my view, going back and watch it. It's David Walliams. It's a David Williams character. You go and look at it, and he looks just like somebody out of Britain. You know what I mean? Anyway, there you go.
What ITV did when they announced the coverage, they announced the pundits, they announced Dean Ashton's, who's quite good. Who's the guy that had last night from former QPR player? Jamie Mackey?
Might have been, yeah.
Anyway, and they announced the female presenter, Jules Breach, who is actually very, very good. I haven't seen her on yet. I haven't seen her on any of the Saturday episodes, but they announced it with her as sort of spearheading it.
I think she was on doing the feature, which was the Watford game. I think they had a feature on for the Watford game, and she did that. But it's like, Rich Studio, get talking about football there. Don't just send her to Vicarage Road. Have her in the actual studio.
She's got a personality. You know, the guy on this week, last week, they just lacked personality. Colin Murray had that about him where he could engage you. And anyway, we spent too much time on this. Gavin Ward. Mick, we worked him out, haven't we?
Yeah, sussed him.
We've worked him out. Go on, I'll let you explain.
Well, you look back at
mute the mics. Let Murray's moment. Mute the mics.
You look back at the games that I've moaned and groaned about Danny Ward over the years, and each time it's a key decision, isn't it? Each time it's a key decision. And if you go back to iFollow and watch that game on Saturday, every time, and I'm using that word sort of, and I mean every time, and I accept he's given us a penalty, but he's not made the big decisions. He's happy to make any sort of decision that's not in a dangerous position, that's not going to result in creating either side any danger. So kind of anything around the centre circle, he's going to give it. Anything at all that's contentious, he will not give. He just won't do it. And for me, that screams just a lack of confidence in his own ability. And I say every time because, yes, he gave us a penalty. However, that penalty, the player who brought Chio down made no attempt to play the ball. And Chio was the last man. He prevented a goal-scoring opportunity. How that is not a red card, or at the very least a yellow card, is nobody's going to be able to give me an explanation as to why. Because there were no covering defenders. I watched it back. It has to be at least a yellow card, but probably, in my view, a red. Doesn't give it. He had no choice but to give the penalty. He had absolutely no choice whatsoever. He had when he did have a choice, in the first half, he didn't give us the penalty, which he should have done. But anyway, it's Gavin Ward. You know, you get what you know what you're going to get with him, and what you're going to get with him, it would appear, is he's going to give free kicks all over the pitch. But anything that's contentious, he's just going to run away from. That's what he did at Preston. That's what he did at Barnsley, and that's what he did on Saturday. Very, very poor. Very poor. But didn't expect anything else, really, did you?
No.
And even with the penalty, it took him 3 goals to get it right. Because he had the 3 in the first half, and it happens other end, and he's like, I have to give it. And I have to answer.
He could not give that one, could he? He could not give that one.
And just for clarity, the foul did start outside the box, but the foul continued into the box. Therefore, by the letter of the law, it has to be a penalty, not a free kick.
You'd assume the guy who did the foul would know that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would have thought so. Yeah,
he didn't know that clearly. On the penalty, Danny, every penalty should be scored. It's very, very easy to say that, and that is right. I do think that, but I do feel a bit sorry for Barlas. He's hit it sweet as a nut, and the keeper's got a little bit lucky, to be honest with you. He's left his legs there. I think Ben said somebody said in the post-match, in the instant reaction, he's got lucky because he's dove quite late and left his legs in the middle. Yeah. And just Barlas still takes the next one for me. It's just move on.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think is the one thing I'm a little bit critical of with his technique was that Barlas normally he goes down the middle, and he scores 9 out of 10 times. But this is just the 1 out of 10 times where he doesn't quite get enough height on it.
Yeah,
and like you say, the keeper does get lucky to save it. They talked about how he's 6'4" and he's got a really good record of saving penalties, but Barlas has completely juked him and he's gone the wrong way. But because he's 6'4" and he, like you say, he dove late, that's why he saved it. And if he were like 2 inches shorter, it's a goal. But he's just tall and lucky, and that's why he saved it. But yeah, I think Barlas will look at that, and when he gets his next penalty, he'll go high. I think he'll go high, and I mean, even with the way the goalkeeper was stood, you could see which way he was going to dive. He had all his weight on his left foot. Granted, you can see it a lot better if you watch the highlights back, but you can see exactly the way he's going. And Barlas has seen that, so he's going right and go down the middle, and he's just unlucky. But for his next technique, exact same thing. Joe come out going one way or other, but go high down the middle. Because going high down the middle when they've already gone, they're not going to save it. Unless they're like Mr. Tickle, and they've got really long arms.
Yeah, I think when we spoke to Victor, he was talking about penalties. He was saying when you take a penalty in normal time, keepers can't really stand up to you. Because if you stand up and it goes to the side, you look an absolute mug, don't you? So going down centre does make sense. It's just one of those things that Woody saved him, but then Barlas has saved Woody by helping him.
Yeah.
It's great. Ollie Rathman had another really, really good game, Mick. There was a concern with Rathman that he would get silly free kicks, give silly free kicks away. It would get silly bookings, and it would become, because people are good and much easier in the Championship. And it's not planned out that way. I know the yellow card yesterday was pretty harsh, to be honest with you, to get a yellow card. But he's taken to the Championship like a duck to water. I just love the guy. He just screams all over United, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. And to be fair, I think this new rule implementation, the new way that they're implementing the rules has benefited him because it allows him to play his game, and the referees are not falling for this. People throwing themselves about all over the place. So it's definitely benefiting him, and he's just continued to do what he did last year. He's so effective at it, so effective. But what I did notice yesterday, there's one or two other players kind of doing the same thing. Cameron Humphreys, Dan Barlas are all winning the ball in Ollie Rathbone fashion. You know what I mean? Being little terriers, kicking around the ankles and just getting the foot between players' legs to get the ball. So it's obviously rubbing off on some of the others as well, which can only be a good thing. But his work rate, man, wow, unbelievable scenes, absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, 100%. Talking of work rate, Danny, Connor Washington. I think we've talked about him a lot, to be honest with you, but I'm never going to stop talking to him while he plays like that. Never going to stop talking about him, because the way he closes the man down and his desire to try and win the ball back, or not even win the ball back, just put pressure on the man, is just brilliant. And to have that in your team, and to be fair, when Eves came on, he did something similar, to be fair, on Washington. I just think he's slotted into this team perfectly.
Yeah, it's like I say, he's just slotted in. That really sums it up perfectly. It just sort of suits how we operate. same with Rathbone, like we've said. But when you press a ball like Washington presses it, and you either win the ball and create a chance, or you create the mistake in the defender, and it takes a very good player to get out of that situation without a mistake, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just that it's Washington doing it and doing it very effectively. Everyone does it. When we're not in possession and the opposition's in possession in like their final third, we just press the ball, and it makes them make mistakes. The teams in this division obviously don't like a pressing team when they're knocking it round the back, because they come up against us and nobody's won against us yet.
Yes,
They
will.
stick to that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Connor Washington, like Ian Bradley said, Connor Washington's work rate is phenomenal. Absolutely. He's like we say, he's really embodied the club and the work rate that you have to put in the club, and it's rubbing off on other people. Like we said, Tom Eves started doing it as well, even though he's more of your stereotypical centre forward on the set piece, like a set piece centre forward, we'll say. But yeah, it's everybody that's doing it, which is great, and it shows that they're working hard and they are fighting for every single point they can get this season. Like we said, we're not here to make up numbers. We're here to slog it out with everybody.
We damn right are. We absolutely are. Ray Smedley says, how good was the young kid Cuffy from Arsenal? Carl Briggs also says, enjoy watching Cuffy play. The more minutes he gets, the more dangerous he will be. His league debut in the Championship for us, obviously, yesterday or Saturday. There's quite a lot to like about him, Mick. There's quite a lot to like about him, isn't there?
Yeah. There's nothing not to like about him, is there? Everything. I can see why Arsenal rate him so highly, and that's just from one game, having spent 3 days training with us and never played at this level of football before. So you can absolutely see what they see in him, and I'm absolutely positive there's far more to come from that lad. You can just see, we've all watched football long enough to know. Instantly recognise a player who's got talent, and he definitely has. But his work rate was up there with everybody else as well. I did see at the full-time whistle, he almost he did collapse.
Yeah.
So he's obviously got some work to do on his fitness. But mate, it's a nightmare, isn't it? It is a nightmare. Wow. Yeah, he's what a prospect.
He's got it, Annie. When you just like you say, that he's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it.
Yeah, no question. And if we're going to be able to keep him all season, wowzers.
Jamie says we're going to fall in love with a lone player again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Probably. There probably is a break clause in January. Probably. That's not been confirmed, but with how loans work, there normally is a break clause. If we're rock bottom, Arsenal might think about calling them back. If we're in a fight for relegation or higher, then why would they call him back if he's playing games and playing minutes? Just to try and upset everybody a little bit. Connor Simpson says, Brooke, overall quality, rocket pace, 18-year-old, Championship debut, very impressive. Very, very impressive, Danny. Just very, very impressive.
You sort of forget he's 18, don't you? Because I think it was Les Payne on commentary who said this. He's got maturity beyond his years in football, and he's just like Washington and Rathbone. He's worked himself into the ground on his debut. Like there are a point where he's made a 60-yard run down the wing. It's gone out for a throw into us. But he's carried the ball and he's completely blowing after it. And Chio just high-fives him and goes, yes, that's what we want. And again, he's another player who's just slotted in. He still has things to work on, which he will in training. And when he gets a bit more cohesive union with the whole team, that will shine through. But to say he's that good and he's not the finished article yet, how on earth have we signed him?
I think the point you just made there, Danny, is about maturity. It's not necessarily, well, not just his overall maturity, but his defensive maturity. You know, it was something else. You know, for a lad of 18, a couple of times, because he plays so high up the pitch, both wing backs are playing really, really high. So he's by definition going to find himself out of position at times, and yet he's still able to get back, not only make the challenge, but get his body in between the player and the ball or whatever. You know, effectively get back without giving a foul away, without losing possession of the ball. It's immense. It really is for a lad of his age.
And it's exactly that. He's good at tracking back and getting the tackle in, and he said on his interview he's not scared to do that, which is great to hear from a young kid who's developing as a wing back / winger. But also when he goes forward, it's like he beats players with the turn. I think there were 2 Birmingham players who just sat down with a turn, and then just plays the ball out, and it doesn't really come to anything. But it's the fact he's got that confidence to go on my debut. I'm a division higher than I played last year, and I've got this opportunity, and he just does something like that. It's like, wow, the confidence and maturity that kid's got. He will go places. Should I say? If I put my teeth in,
is he English? I hope he is.
Yes, he's just won. Was it under-19s Euros with England?
Yeah. He has played for England. Yeah. There's no doubt there's the potential for a full England call-up at some stage in his footballing career in future, isn't there?
100%.
Develop, no doubt.
I think when he gets the season at Arsenal under his belt, he'll be an England team easily. And we can go. We've watched him at New York Stadium for Rotherham. Another one made at Rotherham, telling you. He'll be next Tavernier. Bet. I'm calling that now, next Tavernier.
But better. He has a way in defensive duels. He has, I said to Mick yesterday, when it looks like it's a 50-50 chance of him coming out with the ball, he just won it so many times. It just looks like a 70-30 challenge in his favour all the time. I was so impressed with how many duels he sort of won when it didn't look like he should have done. I was just impressed, just so impressed with him. And I'll just put this through the start there. As far as I'm aware, there's only one player to play for Rotherham and go on to play for England so far. There could be a second one. There could be a second one. Dave Watson, as far as I know, is the only one that's played for Rotherham and gone on. I think we've had some former England internationals come to us. But only one has ever gone on to play for England. He genuinely could be the second. In the short space of time, I've been happy, very happy with him. Ian Bradley does point out rightly that BNC hasn't got the same ring to Reg, which is very true.
Yeah, but we'll find something, Ian. We'll find something. Yeah.
Powered UK says Cuffy ran circles around the Birmingham players, made them like traffic cones. Yeah, he did it. He's got the cheers about him, hasn't he? Oh dear. Do you know from last season the attacking sense of Chio, but with a much better defensive side of his game?
Yeah, I kind of feel a little bit for Chio at the moment because his title of fastest man at the club is. I'm not convinced he's got that anymore.
No.
Now that's the content we want to see. We want to see that content on YouTube or something, a race between Chio, Bramall and Norton Cuffy to see who's fastest. It'd be like a Top Gear race, wouldn't it?
Bring back Ozzy's 2-2.
I'm calling it. It's going Bramall, Ogbeni, Cuffy, but it's going to be close.
I think so.
Be a photo finish.
Yeah. We should mention Bramall. I thought Bramall was superb as well. I thought it's comfortably his best game for club so far. Came off with a hamstring, what appears to be a hamstring something, whether it's a strain or a pull or whatever. Paul won't suggest that it may just be precautionary they took him off for, but we'll see. But yeah, I thought he was superb, Bramall. I was very impressed with him overall, defensively as well as going forward. Anybody else you want to point out and mention? Comment, sorry.
Yeah, well, on that point, really, we lost Cameron Humphreys and Cohen Bramall in a very, very short space of time. Any other season, that would have been a major problem for us. It would probably have meant a change in formation. So we just bring on Wes Harding, who played out of position against his old club and didn't put a single foot wrong. And somebody with 500 years championship experience in Shane Ferguson. You know what I mean? It were like it did not affect us in any way. And we've lost two of our better players, two of our best players, best performing players, to injury. And it made no difference whatsoever. That's the difference between this squad and any other squad that we've had in the Championship in recent years. Yeah. Again, it's about recruitment.
It's also about mentality as well, because those injuries happened straight after half time. Like 49 minutes, I think Humphreys went off. And then 2 minutes later, Cohen Bramwell comes off. And it would be so easy for us to sort of take that as worlds against us. We've lost two players. Forget about how good they are. We've just lost two players because of non-incidents. And, well, God, what we're going to do now. But there were none of that, were there? There were absolutely none of that. They were on it all the time. And they've been so strong in these 5 games so far. I've been so impressed with the mentality of the team. There's been no heads down. When we considered against QPR, there was no heads down and frustrated and angry. Swansea, there was none of we conceded. It didn't matter that we conceded. The game continued as it did. I think with Birmingham, from an attacking point of view, I felt from a mentality point of view, we smelt blood. We knew there was something there, and they went for it. Yes, it took time for the goal to come, but I thought the mentality the players showed was fantastic. And again, that is hugely important if you're going to stay up in this division or do anything in this division. Who knows? Before we move on to anything else, I should point out we are now technically 8 games unbeaten in the Championship, which is the best run under Paul Warne in the second tier. Now, it spreads over 2 seasons. You know what I mean? I accept that. But technically, we are 8 games unbeaten under Paul Warne in the Championship. So there you go.
On a roll. On a run.
I suspect that's the longest current unbeaten run in the Championship. I may be wrong, but there can't be many more from last season.
If you roll it over from last season in League One to now, I think we're like the 3rd longest run in the EFL, because I think it's Ipswich and Doncaster who have got 9, and then we're sat nice and pretty on 8. So it's the same for the last time in the Championship, and there's a straight roll over from last season.
Yeah, it's very good. Jimmy thinks Ben Wild should have done better with his free shot he had. Yes, he should. But I think Chio had a chance that he maybe should have done better with as well. We've got to get better with him. Let's not sugarcoat these kind of things. We've got to take those opportunities. But we won. In the end, we won, so the pressure's off. We don't have to worry about it too much. Krakov says Wood's interview says the team is not scared of anybody. And I can see that. I can see it by watching them play. They are not scared of anybody.
No, absolutely.
It's all very obvious. Anything else we need to touch on from the game?
Nah.
Other than the fact that Paul Warne talks too much on Radio Sheffield.
Did you ever mention some teams who might perhaps be in League One get more credit than Rotherham United should be doing? It's like, I wonder who that's to dig at.
That tweet is just it's a thing of beauty, and if you've not seen it, I've certainly retweeted it, and quite a few other people have retweeted it as well. Sit yourself down with a beer, read the tweet, and then just scroll through some of the comments.
Our comments were amazing,
and it's like none of our fans even instigated it. They've just done it themselves for our entertainment. It's beautiful.
I think the reason why Radio Sheffield started doing it is just as magical as well, because Wednesday have moved where they do the interviews from where the live line comes into Hillsborough, so it's impossible for them to do Fraser Gumbel from Hillsborough. So they've gone, we'll do it at Rotherham. Because Sheffield United already played and they were away, so we'll do it at Rotherham. So they've got nothing to complain about. It's your own fault for changing where you do your interviews. Don't have a go at us. It's your fault. Oh dear.
Loved it. We should mention JJ Josh Cody is going out on loan. The rumour I've seen is similar to Kim Hayward. I heard it's MK. Not sure how, but I've seen MK and somebody else linked with him. I can't remember who else I saw linked with him. To turn us with it. If he goes to MK Dons, that'd be a great low move for him. A brilliant low move.
And he's linking back up with Will Grigg as well, which
That's
I think
Yeah.
will further his development as well, because it's someone who he knows through playing together, and it's someone who we a lot of experience we can learn off. So if it is MK, that's a fantastic move to him.
Also, again, from not that it matters, it gives MK a different option. When we played them last season, they beat us. Let's be fair, at our place, they beat us. But they don't have an option to just sort of play the channels or go direct. I know Morais is a very good player, but he's not as physical as JJ. So it gives them a different option to go a bit more direct if they choose to. Yeah,
it would be a really good move for him, that.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Crackle also says, can we mention we are still a long ball team? Yeah. Some of the football that we played yesterday on Saturday. Do you know some of the one-touch stuff we played at edge of boxes?
It were awful. We're useless at it.
Beautiful, wasn't it? It was so good. They were like one-touch stuff with Barlas and Rathbun, Wiles. It was just...
Oh, that backheel flick that Rathbun did as well. It was like, where's that come from? But it was brilliant. And hopefully we play the same sort of football on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, hopefully so. Let's move ahead to Sunderland. This is an interesting one. Let's start with, where are we? Ref Watch is Tim Robinson. He last refereed us at the 1-0 home loss in COVID to Birmingham. No games of note particularly. He does have a Rotherham incident of note, which I do have to bring to the attention. We're in Paul One's first season in charge when we got relegated in the Championship. We went to Sheffield Wednesday and lost 1-0 to a penalty late on, which Richard Wood was given a judge to have fouled Stephen Fletcher, which was not a foul. He was him. He was him. That was him.
We've got the perfect punishment for him then, haven't we, really? Because he's now got to travel all the way up from West Sussex to Sunderland on a Wednesday night to referee a game. So, serves you right, mate.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yeah, he's obviously upset somebody for that trip, hasn't he?
Yes. It's not like Keith Stroud, who lives in Bournemouth and gets to ref Bournemouth all the time.
Well, that's probably what it is. Bournemouth are probably playing on Wednesday night, so we couldn't have Keith Stroud because he's refereeing Bournemouth game for him to win. Feeling sorry for him after Saturday. He's obviously upset somebody for that little trip.
I think so, yeah.
Sure, we can find a referee who's closer. I mean,
like one from Cumbria or something, at least in the same neck of the woods.
They couldn't possibly find a referee that's further away, apart from Keith Stroud.
He'll have to set off tomorrow to get there. And have a full night's skip. It's like, right, I'm off to go and ref Rotherham v Sunderland. Not until Wednesday, and it's Monday. It's in Sunderland. Oh, right, okay.
There's quite a lot to cover in the Sunderland game. We've gone 58 minutes talking about one game. We'll cover the next one. This is more of a fact than a stat. We have never played at the Stadium of Light in the light. Every time we've gone to the Stadium of Light, it's been an evening game. Pointless information, but it is a fact. It is factual. Just quite like that one. Ben would probably dislike that one. Anyway, we've also never won there, and we've only ever won in Sunderland once, and that was in 1959. Not a happy hunting ground. But, Mick, is this the best time to play Sunderland? Alex Neil has left. I'm sure everyone does know this, but we'll just sort of recap the story because it is quite interesting. Alex Neil obviously got them promoted. Recently signed new terms, but was on a rolling 12-month contract. Stoke came in last week after sacking Michael O'Neill, and he essentially seems to have claimed that Sunderland have not backed him during the summer months and has decided to take up Stoke. I don't know his contractual situation at Stoke, but has chose to take up the challenge at Stoke City. I suppose we're not here to talk about whether that's a good move or not, because why would we? But does that make it a good time to play Sunderland, or potentially a really bad time to play Sunderland?
I think it's a good move for us, depending on why he's moved, doesn't it? I mean, ultimately, it depends on why he's moved. Alex Neil seems to me, and again, this is just purely opinion, looking from the outside with very little knowledge of the inside, so it's probably not very valid, but he strikes me as being a pretty straightforward kind of guy, you know? he seems an honest bloke. He doesn't seem to me somebody who would. It doesn't come across as the type of bloke who would, try and go behind people's back or anything else.
I mean.
It doesn't seem that kind of bloke. But if you park that to one side for a minute, Sunderland have a checkered history, shall we say, of owners doing the right thing for the club. They over recent years they've basically just they've made such a mess of the club, taking it from the Premier League to League One. Financially, it's been in a mess. Could you see the fact that they've not backed him as a manager, or they've made false promises to him? Yeah, I could. I could. Yeah, and if that is the case, the players will be well aware of what's going off behind the scenes as well. If he's gone because they haven't backed him, the players are not going to be playing to their, to the level that they would be. It would, in that set of circumstances, be a great time to play him. Whether that's right or not, who knows? There's talk that Tony Mowbray is going to take the job, which is fine. But Tony Mowbray is a manager who needs time to develop his squad, needs time to develop his playing style. He's not going to just come in overnight and hit the ground running. He's not that kind of manager, is he? I don't think.
I don't think so. No.
So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I can absolutely see that the board or the boardroom at Sunderland have not done the job that they're supposed to be doing in terms of the manager. I can absolutely see that. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. But I won't be at all surprised. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, because it's going to affect the players, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we haven't got a scout report tonight with a couple of reasons. That because of the change in manager, what could a Sunderland fan tell us about how they're going to play that we don't already know? It's a change of manager, we don't know. And we obviously had a lot to cover already. But Danny, what's your take on the current Sunderland situation, how it plays into our hands or not?
Based on how they played against Norwich, they sort of had a good game but didn't take the chances. So it could be the fact that they haven't had the manager to lead them through that and change things and motivate them and such. But in my opinion, it can go one of two ways. Either it'll be our first win at the Stadium of Light because they've sacked the manager and we've got a bit more of a leadership figure in Warney, and they've now have to find just somebody to lead them through it, because I believe the guy who took charge of him against Norwich has now gone to Stoke. Oh dear. You laugh, but this is the one good thing I got from that ITV thing, because he said just after the Sunderland highlights that we can now confirm that I forget what his name was, but he's also gone to Stoke to be is it Alex Neil, yeah, to be his assistant. It's like, oh god, so now the interim manager's gone. So if anyone does know who might take up the mantle for the Rotherham game, please let me know, because I've got no idea. It might be Kitman for all I know. So that could either play into our favour and help us out and actually finally get a win at the Stadium of Light, or the Stadium of Night, as it should be called. Thank you to
Powerman UK said that.
Yeah, Powerman UK. Yeah, that is perfect. I'm using that in the vlog for Sunderland. But then on the flip side of it, it could also play against us, because now they might, I don't know, they might play with a bit more freedom, or that just go, we'll just play however we want to play, and they might just try and finesse a 1-0 to keep the results ticking over until the next manager comes in. They're the two ways it'll go. It'll be a tough game regardless, 100%. And I think Sunderland's really starts like the big tests that are coming up, because we've got Sunderland, Watford at home next, then Sheffield United away, Middlesbrough away, all those coming up. So this could be the start of a really testing run of games. I think the first test we really had was Swansea, followed by Preston, and now Sunderland's the next one. And hopefully we change history a little bit. We did that against Birmingham, first home win since 1989.
Yep.
First win over Birmingham at New York, and I think now it might be time for the first win at the Stadium of Night. So let's see.
Agreed. I hope you're right. Yeah. It could be a good night because it's one of those games that if we go ahead early, and you find this with big crowds normally, and we know there'll be a big crowd at Sunderland because there always is, because they're a very well supported club. If you put them under pressure early doors, the crowd will get on their backs. Bear in mind the situation as well. The fans may not feel like they're getting on the fans back, they may feel like they're getting the club back, but that feeds into the players. And if that puts a negative spin on the players, that can really, really fit into our game plan and what we're trying to do. But if we allow them to take control of the game, then things can go another way. That'll galvanise the fans and get the fans behind them. It depends on and depends on how we do. And what I will say is we have started pretty well in all our games so far. So
it feels to me that Sunderland are a club that the fans are very quick to turn. Again, I've no basis for saying that. That's just how it feels over the years.
Yeah.
That they do turn quite quickly. Might be wrong with that, but in the game that when we played them last season at their place when we were 1-0 up, they turned.
Yeah,
they started to turn on the team, and then they were pushing for playoffs. So or they were in the playoff position. So you know what I mean. Get the crowd on the backs and we're away.
And the best thing is there's more fans there this season because they're back in the Championship. We've come out at woodwork and gone, back in the Championship we can go now rather than being in League One. Yeah. So if we start on the front foot and really start to not wind up their fans, but like get to them a little bit by playing so good, then it could be their downfall. Because I think it was on the Moment of Truth where they say if all them fans get on your back, it's a lot worse to be in a bigger stadium than it is a smaller one.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember from that episode is that young fan having a go at Wardy saying you've not got a stadium like this, have you? It's like, no, the attendance police has started in the pre-teens. Oh dear. Well, that's exactly that. We don't have a stadium like that. Yeah, we don't. We don't have 40,000 people getting on our team's back when we're doing badly either.
Yeah. How are you, okay? So can we get a Newcastle striker in for Wednesday just for a game? It's fine. We've got Barlasser. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Barlass will have Blade and Races on the coach going up to Sunderland.
We also got a comment, Danny, saying you deserve a 4-game ban for the negativity against Birmingham when you said we weren't going to win.
Yeah.
Like your lesson, aren't you?
You want to know what worst thing as well? My prediction is not a win for Sunderland either.
It's not a win for Sunderland.
No, I reckon it'll be a draw. Because every time I've been to Stadium of Light, it's been a 1-1 draw. It might be third time lucky, I don't know. But every time it's been 1-1, and it's annoyed me every single time.
We've had 3 draws and a loss. I think there's 4 games over at Stadium of Light, 3 draws and a loss.
And I've seen 2 of them, and they're 2 draws.
Yeah, exactly.
Both 1-1s.
Yeah. How do we think we're going to set up, Mick? The questions are on people like Richard Wood. If Richard Wood plays Wednesday, then Saturday becomes a problem. So would you rest him for Wednesday for the home game against Watford, or just play him now because he's fit and it's a winnable game?
No, I think you give a rest. I think you give him a rest. Drop Grant Hall into the middle. Bring Peltier back, who was rested yesterday. Yes. By all accounts. You've got Wes Harding to bring back as well if necessary. You've got Jimmy McCourt to bring back. His name for a minute, yeah.
Jimmy McCourt, who's he?
Needle got stuck then. To bring back as well. So no, I wouldn't start Woody. I'll be honest. I'd have him on the bench, and then formation just because we know what the formation is. Everything in front of the defence stays the same for me,
except Ramble probably.
In front of the defence, it's just your back 5. So you just put Fergie's in there into job done.
If Norton Cuffy needs taking out, which he will because he's 18-year-old, he will need managing. Just chuck Wes in there, can't you?
Yeah.
That's the benefit with Norton Cuffy coming in, is that you can chuck Wes in there when you need to.
Yeah.
That's an option. Danny, can you see any other changes? Midfield 3 and front 2, unless Eves is fit. Even if he were fit, it's probably still keep it same, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think it just depends on how we need to. Excuse me. We need to. What's the term that they use? Fatigue manage players. I think that's the only time that you bring changes in, like maybe Lindsay for Rathbone, but can't really see that after his performance. But again, with Woody, if Woody wasn't, I know I'm contradicting myself from what I said earlier, but if he wasn't 37, he'd just keep ticking over and playing and playing and playing. But we need to manage his fatigue, and he got a dead leg at the end of the first half, which he played through. So we need to wait and see about that. But if Woody is up for it and he's not going to be blowing, I'd start him after that performance. But it's just managing it. I've said, and if we does need a little bit of managing, just bring Peltier in. You know, and it's the fact that we can say, right, we can take him out and put him in his place without any worry whatsoever.
Yeah,
you know, because it's just like they're just good. You know, it's like losing Humphreys. It's like, right, McCart's going to come in because we know how good McCart can play. And I'm saying with Harding coming in for potentially Norton Cuffy, if he needs a little bit of fatigue management, that's fine. You know, the only issue arises if you want to play Wes on the right side of the back three, but you need to have him at wing back, then questions. But yeah, in terms of front two, Washington and Ogbedi, easy.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Eves were pretty good when he came on, to be fair. That's the first time I sort of properly seen him because Morecambe weren't properly, were it?
No.
I was pretty impressed with him. But yeah. Predictions. I'm first and last this time. I will go 2-1 towards. We're going to get his first win at the stadium tonight. Mick?
I'm sticking with my victor prediction. I'm going 1-0 Millers.
If you're right, Victor will match his clean sheet record from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
After 6 games, if you're right.
Well, he's going to match it anyway, isn't he?
He's going to match it at some point.
He's certainly going to match it before end of September. You know what I mean? So happy days.
Okay, Danny, 1-1. Oh, we may have lost Danny.
Danny's just he's seized.
He's gone. He's gone. Let's go through who we have in the comments. Andrew Kelly says odds on Woody getting another brace. Yeah, could be right. Tobias comes in. I wish I had Tobias's positivity. Tobias says easy 3 points.
Every time he says it, though, he's right. Every time he says it, he's right.
He is right. He is, yeah, I know.
No, listen, anybody who wants a little double for Wednesday night, there's your tip.
We have 2-0 to the Millers, 2-1 to the Millers. Ian Bradley goes 0-0.
Oh, come on, Ian.
1-0. Carl Briggs says also 1-0. Automatic, here we come. Paramount UK says 2-0. I can't see Victor conceding, and I think that he thinks they will be a mess after their manager change. Harvey Kelwick says 2-2, and Neil Liversidge says 2-1. I will get Danny's prediction. Danny's Wi-Fi appears to have dropped out. We will get Danny's prediction. I think he's going to go 1-1, but we will fill it in as and when. Mick, just me and Lee for the final few seconds. Anything else you want to talk about before we drop out?
No, there's any point. We've gone on for far too long already.
It has been a long episode.
Worrying people senseless on a Sunday night. So yeah.
There's no work tomorrow, is there? So
we've got to be happy with where we are, but we need to keep our feet on the ground. We are going to lose some games this season, and after Wednesday, the 3 games after Wednesday are massively difficult, hugely difficult games against probably 3 of the better teams in the division, and probably 3 teams that are going to be chasing the automatics come April, May time. So that's probably going to be a decent test to see exactly where we are.
Yeah, but as I said to you, if we can come out of the Sunderland game with either 10 points or 12 points on the board,
yeah,
that's a great thing to go in, to go into that run of games with.
Of course it is, absolutely. Because there's every possibility. Well, there's not every possibility. There is a possibility we could come out of those 3 games with no more points.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see.
Carl Briggs, invincible seasons, 6 wins and 40 draws. Danny, welcome back.
Hello. My
Wi-Fi's gone. 1-1.
You know what? People are having a go at me in the comment section for being negative. You know what? Sod it. We're going to win 3 now. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
We'll win 3 now. There you go. Wales, Barlasser, and Washington will score, I reckon.
I'll pull that down because if you're right, it's worth mentioning. If you're wrong, we'll just ignore this ever happened, Danny. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay. I'll go back to being negative if I get this wrong. If we get trounced 3-0, because I said we'd win 3-0, then that's why I'm negative today. I think. Can I mention something quickly before?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Sunderland away is my birthday away day, as I've been saying. And I don't think Dave Scrivens will like me showing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I have been to Chanterbury and I said, did you have any mini kegs left, perchance? And they went, yes, we've got one left. And it just so happens with Mighty Miller's. So it's coming on the coach with me. Coming on the coach with me. And the best thing is, my mother's gone out of her way and she's bought party cups to serve the ale in. So, yes, happy days.
I know we're not
on Wednesday. Well done.
I know we're not sponsored by Chantry Brewery, but that is one hell of a pint. That is lovely stuff. I really like that.
It's exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. And the best thing is in the mini keg, I've worked it out, and the pints only cost £2.20.
Nice. It's not bad.
You get more or less 9 pints in one of them. It's a 5 litre keg. Paid £20 for it, so it's roughly £2.20 per pint.
Danny's only charging £3 though, so he's got to make a profit, hasn't he?
I mean, to be fair, the party cups are only half pints, so
yeah. So happy birthday to Danny. If you're on Danny's bus, Danny will be celebrating his birthday. We will be back on Thursday for what will be a Deadline Day special, as it turns out. Accidental, but it is going to be a Deadline Day special. My bright yellow tie is in the post as we speak. We will be going full Jim White on Thursday.
Are we going live till 11?
Well, probably not.
On a school night.
But I expect you to do the same. It's Deadline Day, yellow. Wear yellow. Danny, is he already wearing yellow? Like Danny's in.
Exactly. Thank you. Shall I just wear a black tie just round my neck? Out the collar.
Am I going to wear that?
You won't get into that.
No,
you won't get into the Sweden shirt, I'm afraid.
No, absolutely not.
It's worth a go, though, isn't it?
It's worth. Yeah, you should film yourself trying to get in it, and we'll see if we can show it.
You're not able to show that, mate.
Yeah. Mick will be on camera, we'll just hear a rip, and it's like, oh dear.
Thank you all for being involved. We've really enjoyed this episode. I've really enjoyed being fifth in the table. I hope it continues. We will be back on Thursday evening for the live YouTube show, which will be Friday morning for the audio podcast, which I said will be Deadline Day special. I don't expect any activity from our side, but it will still be on Deadline Day special. Please subscribe to YouTube if you haven't already. Danny, the vlog tomorrow, Monday morning?
Yes, tomorrow morning.
Monday morning for the vlog. If you haven't already, we can watch the instant reaction with Danny, Tiny, and Mick. Mick was on that one. Mick made his debut for the instant reaction.
Yeah.
If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you may get your audio podcast, please do subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. We've got like 30 ratings on there so far on Spotify. So thank you, everybody, who has given us one on there. And yeah, thank you very much. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mick. Oh, no. Go on, Mick.
3 subscribers we need, I think. Is it 3 to get to 700?
No, we need 7.
Oh, 7. So get your grandmas, granddads, kids, dogs, cats, neighbours.
Kid friendly. We're kid friendly.
Exactly. 7 more.
7 more. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Ravel. Vicious. Brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back. And Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.